Hello, my name is Jessica Pritchett, and I'm an assistant principal here at Dawson County Junior High. Just want to give you some information about testing in our building. We are a unique building in that we have eighth and ninth graders in our junior high model. So we do all kinds of testing, and we test all year long. In short, it'll take us a few minutes to go through that, but I do want to just give you kind of a lowdown on exactly what testing in our building looks like. My first piece of advice would be that you find a testing expert in our district and make them your mentor. In my first year at the junior high, I contacted somebody that I knew was very good at organizing testing and was very, very familiar with all of the platforms. And they gave me their cell phone number and email, and I really leaned on them a lot in getting through my first year of testing. So that is my number one piece of advice because no matter how much training you do or how much I tell you, um, you need to get with somebody who's done it before, and that can be, just a phone call away when you get ready to do things within each platform and to plan for the test. At the junior high, we have all kinds of tests, like I said, going on all year long. Again, we have eighth and ninth graders in our building. We run two different schedules. We have a 7 period day for our eighth graders, and then we're on a block schedule for our ninth graders, just to give you some background. So that means a lot of creativity in scheduling these assessments. And it also means that we work hand in hand with the high school when we get ready to do our testing schedule as well, because many of our students within this model are offered a lot of opportunities to move into high school courses. And we have transfer buses going back and forth from the high school all day long. So all that has to be considered in, in planning for testing to begin with. You will want to work hand in hand with the principal here at junior high and also at the high school in making plans for those tests. Just to give you a rundown on what tests that we take here at the junior high, we take end of course assessments. Of course, you will want to be aware of any testing updates that come out from year to year because they do change in what we are required to test. Currently, in our building, in the end of course assessments, all students enrolled in algebra and biology are tested with an EOC. We give those tests in the winter and in the spring because those are semester courses. And then we also give mid month assessments for students who may have missed the test and need to make it up, or for our students who are in the Crossroads and GNETS populations. Also, this applies to our virtual testers as well. So we have lots of different populations of students within our building to consider. Speaking of the Crossroads and GNETS program, both those programs for our district are housed inside of the junior high. So it will be the responsibility of the testing coordinator in this building to look at the population of those classes and talk with the teacher about what tests they need to take. For example, you may have an eighth grader that's in Crossroads that is taking algebra and needs the EOC, and you will need to have that scheduled. You also, because we are the Crossroads program for the district, may have a sixth grade student. You will need to work hand in hand with the middle school and with the district to get them scheduled into tests. So all those populations have to be considered. As far as end of course tests go, again, all the students in algebra and biology, and then you'll want to check those two populations for any 10th graders or 11th graders or seniors that you may have in those either of those programs that would also take U.S. history or American literature. Also, an end of course assessment currently, under the current Georgia DOE guidelines, eighth graders taking physical science also take an end of course assessment. They take it at the end of the year and they take it in place of the end of grade assessment. So they will not take the EOG. Then you have end of grade assessments for all eighth graders in ELA, math, science, and social studies. That assessment is given in the spring. We have access tests for all of our served ESOL students. Those tests are scheduled and given between February and March. You'll be working with the ESOL lead, in this case, Miss Natalie Flanagan, who does an excellent job. She handles most of the planning for those tests, but you will oversee that. You will also be given the GAA 2.0. That's all eighth grade students with significant cognitive abilities. That test is scheduled and given between March and May. You'll be working hand in hand with Miss Megan Duke, who is our CBI teacher at the junior high. We also give MAP assessments, MWEA MAP assessments. Those are given to our eighth graders in reading, math, ELA in the fall, winter, and spring. So it's a total of 9 days. Also, we give those to ninth graders, but we only give that in reading as a Lexile measure, and we give that in the fall and in the spring. So again, There are a lot of tests at Dawson County Junior High, but when working hand in hand with your principal, it's manageable. You just have to communicate and especially keep the high school in mind when planning for those tests. Now, like I said, this is the current situation with testing. However, from year to year, things change. You want to stay abreast of those changes. You will want to meet with the principal to review the district testing calendar, which is communicated by, at this time, Ms. Tracy Compton. And you will want to plan the tests for the year and add them to the Dawson County Junior High Master Calendar. That should be done in the summertime so that everybody is aware of when those tests are going to occur and you can get things in line to make that happen. Now, for each assessment, you will need to be familiar with several platforms. You will need to be familiar with the NWEA platform. I'm going to log in and give you an idea of what that looks like. This login information will come from the central office, the system test coordinator. This platform looks like this. Once you've got your login, the upload is completed for you, just some background information, but this is the assessment that is given to 8th and 9th graders according to, the time of the year is going to involve how much time you're spending in this. But this is where you will go to manage your test session. The upload is completed by the district, so it's rather easy to do that. You're also going to need to be familiar with the RC Insight. This is where your EOGs and EOCs are happening. I'll get logged in just to give you an idea of what this looks like. This platform you are going to be spending a lot of time in. You're going to go in under student management to make sure all your students are uploaded correctly. And you'll also be going in to create your test sessions. Again, this is where you're going to want to have a mentor that can walk you through this process. So reach outside of the school for some help in this way. Somebody who's also giving EOCs at the time. You're also going to need to be familiar with Nextera. This is where the GAA assessment is given. You will be uploading classes and students into this as well. And then you will work with Ms. Natalie Flanagan in the DRC Insight portal on the WIDA side to test for access. So those are the different platforms that you need to be familiar with. Now, for each of these tests, I do want to encourage you to think about the process, but you will need to attend the district training for each of these assessments. You'll be sent calendar invites. You will need to attend, take good notes, and I would suggest creating a notebook for all of the documents that you're going to be getting at those sessions. You're also going to need to ask to be added to the school test coordinators group in Schoology. This is where you're going to get all the required documentation that you're going to need to turn in sent to you, all the signature pages for your trainings. This is where you'll find those. For each of these assessments, you're going to want to read the testing manual from cover to cover. Be very familiar with it, because then you're going to need to train the test examiners in your building. Okay, I would do this on a workshop day, before or after school, whatever your training model is. In our building, we do it during workshop time. Once they've been trained, you're going to need to obtain all the required signatures needed. I suggest you train everybody in the building because in the case of absences, you have backups, which you will need. For each of these tests, you're going to want to build a spreadsheet for the students that need to be tested. You're going to work with the principal to look at 8th and 9th graders enrolled in the tested courses. You're also going to want to remember to consider the GNETS population and the Crossroads population when you're building these spreadsheets. You will then meet with the SPED lead to verify all the accommodations for students to be tested. MAP is the only one does not require because no accommodations are allowed. But once this is done, you will be meeting with Ms. Erin Wade to verify those accommodations. For NWEA, the MAP rosters are automatically uploaded, so you will only need to lead the teachers in how to name the rosters. That's done very quickly and easily. It can be done in a workshop session in about 15 minutes. For all the other assessments, you will be creating the testing groups in the DRC or Nextera platforms, and once they're created, you will add accommodations, as verified by Ms. Wade, to the students who require them. The principal will then sign and submit a verification of those accommodations, and you will send that to the district office. Once all that's been done, you're going to print your testing tickets, if applicable, depending on the test. Organize your testing bins. Be sure to follow all the guidelines as noted in the manual. For example, do they need number 2 pencils? How many pieces of scratch paper? Mints, etc. Then you're going to want to inform parents of upcoming tests utilizing our PowerSchool Messenger, Facebook, and Remind accounts. no later than 2 weeks prior to the test. That is best practice in our case. Then you will utilize the testing folders I already have created in our Schoology staff course to communicate all the testing day links, the instructions, the help sheets. This is where teachers communicate when they need help during the test, etc. All that's been built for you, and our administration team here can show you how to best utilize that. Prior to testing, you're going to want to ensure that all the classrooms meet the requirements of the testing manual, and then you will work with our operations assistant principal to adjust the bell schedules, the lunch schedules, and the transfer bus schedules to the high school as needed. You will communicate with the administration at Dawson County High School in finalizing these test plans because, again, our schedules are connected, and it's very important that they are aware at all times of what we have going on in our building with testing. You can utilize our testing room, which is located across from Ms. Becca Wilson, to maintain testing security for all the materials. That testing room is keyed so that only the administrative team has access, and this makes sure to ensure that things remain secure. Once you're giving the test, you're going to want to monitor the test using the appropriate platform. So, for example, inside of DRC Insight, you can see who is testing, when the tests are complete, etc. Obviously, you're going to go ahead and administer the test. During that administration, you're going to want to be available for technology help. You can also utilize people in our building like Ms. Powell, Ms. Waters, things like that, our instructional coach, to assist you with that. Once the testing is completed, you're going to gather all the documents, organize them as Ms. Compton will send you an email, exactly how they need to be organized. With test tickets, scratch paper, all of that is kept, and you will return that to the district office by hand. This will also include a testing certification form that the principal will sign to verify that it has been done correctly. Then the most important part of all this comes. Once the testing is completed, it's important that you download from the appropriate platform all the testing data and share the data with the appropriate teachers. This is where you're going to want to celebrate wins. In PLCs, you're going to want to adjust if scores were not where you expected them to be. And this is the data that will drive your school improvement plan. So hopefully this has been helpful to you. Again, this is a very quick overview, but we'll get you started. You are going to want to get that mentor, and you're going to want to be prepared to ask a lot of questions and getting testing going in the building. Thank you.